Welcome to the Eastern Township School Board series of videos. In this module, we're going to look at how to create and use labels in Gmail. So what are labels and what do they do? Well, labels show up here, and for example, right now I'm going to create a label for school. So I'm going to just click on more. You can see all my labels here, like draft, action needed, admin stuff, so on and so forth. So I'm going to create a new label down here at the bottom. Now when I create a new label, I just have to put the name, so I'm going to call it school. I can also nest it under something. For example, I can nest it under action needed, but I'm just going to leave it as its own label, and I'm going to create it. So once you create a label, it's a bit different than something like Hotmail, where you can actually drag a something in here. So this will allow you to do that, but what this will do is when you receive an email, you can actually tell it to go straight into the school label if it's relevant. So how do we do this? Now, next step is to go to our gear, so our settings, and see all the settings. Inside all the settings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a filter. So I'm just going to click the filter and create a new one. So by creating a filter, I want everything that comes from etsb.qc.ca, and we're going to put everything that comes from here, even if it's edu.etsb.ca, as long as it has this part, it's going to put it in there. So let's create the filter, and we're going to tell it to apply the label school. So whenever we get an email from etsb.qc.ca, it's automatically going to label into the school. So I'm going to create the filter here. Now there's a previous filter that I created, so just not to confuse this, I'm going to actually delete that one. So here we go. So there it is. That's all we need to do. So I'm just going to go back to Gmail here. And one thing we can do is I've got my school label here. If I click on these little dots here, I'm going to give it a color. So I'm going to put those as bright orange so we can see them. So you can see that here. Now let me send an email. I'm going to compose this very quick email from my own email address, so it comes from edu.etsb.qc.ca. I'm just going to call this test, and I'm going to write test as well inside of the body. So I'm just going to send it. Now this is instantly received. As you can see, it has the school label right here, and if I click on my school label, I already have this in here. So I've got a link that I sent, which I can put back into the inbox. I can also delete things. I can click on them, and you can see the label is right here. So it stays in the inbox, and it also gets put into the school label. So it's a little bit like a folder, but a little bit different at the same time. So that's how we create them, and that's how we use them.